I just got out of my first ever relationship at 23 with a girl I've been with for a couple months. From the likes of it, everything was going well. Up until the day she was going to leave for study abroad. I helped clean her apartment before she was going to move for 3 days straight with her, and since she was an international student she had to move all her things to a storage container. On the ride there my phone died, so I had to use her phone for directions. I saw multiple notifications from Hinge on her phone and I just was stuck in a trance driving. She looked scared, maybe BC she found out, and kept repeating, "Baby, are you okay?" I had almost no words and she tried to hold my hand and I didn't budge. Once we got to the storage place, I asked, "You still have Hinge downloaded?" She went silent for almost 4 minutes, with us just aimlessly walking. The owner of the place tried to talk to me and her on where her container was, and she didn't even speak to the guy. It was really awkward, but once she got to the place, she apologizing. She said to me she just forgot to delete it, and deleted it in front of me so I wouldn't see any of the messages. She made up some weird story that one weird friend of hers kept messaging her, which was strangely similar to another story she told me on the first dates. Out of the almost 6 months of us together, somehow she just forgot to delete it. I didn't question it at all because I was whiplashed. I went to lunch like everything was normal and brought her to the airport. Before she went, I kissed her outside the airport, kinda like Casablanca LMO. I said to her, "I promise I'll see you again," and we went out separate ways. On the way there, she was doing a couple-day layover in New York with her friend she went to school with. She kept texting me, "Miss you, I wish you were here with me," and other stuff. I said, "Call me whenever you're free." I called her and asked what happened today. She denied everything and then tried to pull a, "I didn't know we were in a committed relationship," even though she said we were, and it was really confusing. I feel like I got a little emotional but trying to hold my ground. She said that she promised she didn't see anyone nor talk to anyone this entire time. I told her I didn't believe her at all, and she had no defense. I asked why she always said she loved me or missed me but was waiting for the moment to throw me in the trash. I think this is when she started to cry, and she just started her period that day, which was also bad, but I had to be honest with how much she hurt it. The conversation wasn't going anywhere and I asked her a final question with, "Did you feel anything between us?" She sobbed and said no. I sat in silence and said I needed to go for a walk for a bit and I'll call her tomorrow. The next morning I texted her that she hurt me hard to the point where I can't forgive her anymore. I wished her well, and about 6 hours later I got a big response to how sorry she was. I never responded to her. It's been a couple weeks but things have been better. I'm talking to someone new, feel that I healed and have people around me to talk about this of what went wrong. I just hope this never happens again, because it hurt a lot when I found out. But a big red flag that I should have spotted was how she sees races as fetishes. She's Asian and I'm white, and on the second date she interrogated me by asking if I had an Asian fetish. I said that's racist and she didn't get that, but it felt like she almost wanted me to say yes because she looked weirdly disappointed. On one of the last dates we had with her friends, she made an off-color comment about Italian men's black hair, of how it's so attractive. Which I should have saw the dots to why she was studying in Italy in the first place. All her friends also said cheating was okay to do, because you only have one life, they said, which was concerning and makes me sick thinking about it.
I'm not even sure how to start this. I, 22 am, recently got out of a long-term relationship, 3 years, that ended in betrayal, emotional confusion, and a full-blown smear campaign that's now involved my own family. I'm sharing here because I don't feel like I have a safe space to be honest anymore. I've shared across several communities and it feels like as soon as I make some progress, something opens the wound all over again. I honestly have no safe space anymore to talk about this. Things spiraled quickly earlier this year. We were planning to move in together, and I had just transitioned out of the military. A few days before the ultrasound, she told me she was pregnant. I was panicked and overwhelmed. We hadn't even been together long enough for the math to make sense. Before I had time to process, I ordered abortion pills out of fear, but days later, during the ultrasound, I found out she had been unfaithful. The pills arrived after that. I didn't force her to take them, but the fact that I bought them at all has since been twisted into proof that I'm cruel and uncaring. I found out she was about 8 weeks along on April 1st, and I had only been living with her for 2 to 3 weeks at that point. It raised a lot of questions I wasn't ready for. I panicked. I was hurt. I ordered abortion pills, not thinking straight, not to force anything, but because I felt trapped. I never pressured her to take them, but the act alone has been turned into a weapon against me. She tells people I gave her an ultimatum, me or the child. And to be fair, I did say that in a moment of confusion, but I also retracted it. I chose to walk away instead of trying to control anything. Since then, she's been in contact with my family, behind my back, sending them screenshots of our conversations, selectively edited to paint me as the villain. She mixes in mild accountability to make it believable, but the core of it is just a straight-up character assassination. I don't know if it's for revenge or what, as I'm the one that left. What hurts the most is that my family believes her, or at the very least, they've enabled her version of the story. My own mother, who I've had a very complicated relationship with, has shown her sympathy, even after I shared deeply painful things about my childhood with my ex in confidence. Now it's being used against me. I'm staying with my grandmother now, trying to get back on my feet after going broke from moving out, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells every day. I hear comments, whispers, things that suggest they think I'm unstable, manipulative, or worse, and all of it stems from conversations I never consented to be shared. I've found myself reaching out more than I should, trying to explain, defend myself, seek understanding, even though I know it's pointless. I'm not proud of how often I've tried to correct the narrative, and it's making me feel obsessive, desperate, and disappointed in myself. Every time I make progress, something pulls me back, whether it's a new message from her or my mom repeating something I know came from her mouth. I feel punished for trying to be the bigger person. I feel like the only one suffering the consequences. I'm questioning small things, forgetting details, feeling paranoid, wondering if there's something wrong with me, or if I'm cursed, literally. I even found myself wondering if she placed some sort of spell or bad energy on me. That's how off I feel. I don't recognize my thoughts anymore. TLDR, got out of a 3-year relationship marked by betrayal, manipulation, and a smear campaign. My ex has been painting me as the villain to my own family, sharing private conversations and twisting the truth. Now I'm struggling with guilt, emotional overwhelm, and feeling completely isolated, even in my own home. Just trying to understand how to heal when the damage runs this deep and the lies feel louder than the truth. So I'd like to share my story even though it's older. Till this day, I don't even know if she truly cheated. It was the mother of my kids. We had just bought a house. She had just got promoted to a salary job in an assisted living facility. All was good. She told me she met a guy named Ramon and he worked in the kitchen, was cool but had issues with his kid's mother. Thing with me is I remember every detail my girlfriend tells me, just in case I need it later. So I made a mental note of that name. Down the road, she started changing, less sex, less affection, on the phone texting more, had to poop, and would be in the bathroom for 20 to 25 minutes when she used to never do that. Paying more attention to how she looked going to work. One night she went to a friend's to hang out. I heard her pull into the driveway, but her car was still running. I looked out the window and noticed she was smiling and looked like either she was on FaceTime or had her phone on speaker. I thought nothing of it. Maybe an innocent chat with a friend? Then it went to 5 minutes, to 10, 15, maybe 20. She comes inside. Instantly, I asked who was she talking to, a friend from work, and wanted to show me the phone number. I didn't want to see it. Could have been true, but I refused to look at her phone. Then she started being mean to me, looked checked out. Responsibilities with the kids fell more on me and less on her. One day, she told me she may have to go by her job at 10 p.m. because they've been getting complaints the overnight staff isn't wearing uniforms, so they were asking her to pop up and make sure they were or send them home. Weird to me because 1. Why is there not an overnight manager for that? You mean to tell me that nobody supervises employees overnight? 2. She's very lazy. Any other place or thing to do at that time. She's not going no matter what. 3. She goes in a t-shirt and sweats and said since it's a pop-up, she wanted to be casual. She knew I thought it was sketchy even though I said nothing because she was doing all she can to not make me think it was. She was texting me every 10 minutes updating me on it. She said she was going to help someone with paperwork then come back home. Once she told me that, I didn't hear back from her for an hour till she said she was on her way home. Forgot to mention she took a shower before she left. She didn't take one when she got home, which kind of throws me off because I feel like if it was cheating related, She should shower after, not before? I don't know. Anyway, fast forward past a few serious arguments and me confronting her about the cheating, which she obviously denied, deflected it onto me by saying I'm losing my mind. She's worried and I needed to get help or we were done. I genuinely believed her and looked into therapy. So one day we were going to Home Depot. We took her car. Stupidly, she would always leave her phone's Bluetooth connected to her car. So if someone calls, it shows up on her car's screen. Soon as we got in the car, someone called her and the initials were RM, and she immediately denied the call. I said nothing but found it weird she initialed it, as usually she just puts names for everyone. Later that day, I realized I needed to find out who that was. I thought of a plan. I said, hey, I gotta run to Walmart. I'm gonna take your car because you're behind mine. She said okay. Soon as I got in the car, I went through the phone book and jotted the number to those initials on my phone. Later that night, I went into the bathroom and used Been Verified for a reverse phone lookup, and it was who I expected it to be. The guy Ramon who worked in her job's kitchen. So now it's confrontation time. Instead of telling her what I know, I wanted to give her the opportunity to tell me the truth. I went into the room. I asked her, hey, who was that who called you? I saw the initials RM. She immediately lied and said it was her supervisor, Robin. So I said, okay, I'm going to give you another opportunity to tell me the truth. She caught an attitude and said, well, if you know who it is, why are we playing this game? Just tell me. I said, because I wanted to see if you'd lie. So finally, she admitted it was Ramon. I said, okay, why lie? She said, because with what we've been going through, she didn't want me to get mad and said he called to ask a question about work. I said, okay, you could have picked it up then. She apologized. About a week later, with no improvement, I had enough. While home painting while she was working, I texted her and told her what was the deal with us. We walk around like roommates and I can't do it anymore. She told me that hurt to read, but she hit me with the dreaded, I need some space, which for me is usually universal language for, I'm interested in someone and want time to feel that out. So I acted out of character and admittedly cursed her out, and I called Ramon. He denied everything, said she was a friend. I told him if I find out the opposite, I would call corporate and have him fired. He hung on me. He told her about the car because she immediately texted me asking if I called him. I said yes, and her next text was she wants me out before she gets there. I refused. Her parents showed up with my kids because she went there, cried to them, and basically put on a show that made me out to be a controlling bastard that may hurt her because of how I spoke to her when I was flipping out. Mind you, I didn't say anything out of the norm when you flip out on a girlfriend you're having issues with. Anyway, her mom immediately comes for me by saying her daughter doesn't feel safe around me and is scared to text them because of me. They weren't trying to hear anything I had to say, so I gave up talking. Awkward silence ensued till she showed up and asked to speak in the garage. It consisted of me flipping out some more for involving her parents when we're adults and could have handled it on our own. She told me I needed to leave because they weren't going to leave unless I did. After rebelling on that for an hour, I said goodbye to my kids and left. A month after I left, I asked a friend to message and add one of her coworkers and pretend they knew them and act like they were a former coworker. It actually worked, so I told her to bring up my kid's mom and see what they say about her. The girl said, oh yeah, she's cool. She's been messing around with the kitchen manager, Ramon. Of course, that's not surefire proof, but again, just another sign toward there being something to it. So today, where we stand is weird. We co-parent very well, still flirt, sometimes have sex. I see her and my kids almost every day, so I know she isn't seeing anyone. We don't discuss that time period at all. Basically, till this day, I have no confirmation she cheated on me, but obviously, at the very least, there was something going on. Could have been an emotional cheat, or maybe they were just interested in each other. I'll never know and don't care to know anymore. What I did learn is the healthcare field is dangerous to date, and LOL, I want to make it clear she was a good girl. Had many moments she did more for me than my entire family. I just think she had a lot of personal issues and unresolved childhood/teenage trauma that lead her to be able to do stuff like that. I noticed she really enjoyed attention, and if it wasn't coming from me, she, as probably any girl really, is going to enjoy it when it comes from somewhere else. She was also very naive, tries her best to be liked, a people pleaser, and wants to fit in any clique she meets. She always told me a lot of those girls at that job were basically competing for the same guys there, even the ones who were in a relationship. I think she kind of fell into that herself. Now, I don't wish for anyone to lose their home, especially when it involves my kids, but it's kind of ironic that she just signed Sunday evening to sell the house. She couldn't afford the mortgage anymore on her own and is moving in with her parents. I think when she kicked me out, she envisioned things being an entirely different way than it came to be. She ended up losing that job 3 months later as her bosses weren't satisfied with her work in that position. She found another job 2 months later but had to take a big pay cut. So much it became hard for her to afford her bills. When I say she expected something different, I think she thought her and that guy were going to become a little more serious along with her keeping that job for a long time and being able to afford the bills. Neither one panned out. I honestly stalk that guy's Facebook from time to time. He's in a new relationship with a new girl. This is why I don't understand why women or cheaters in general make long-term decisions based off a honeymoon period. As far as I go, I haven't dated yet. I have met 3 girls since, neither went anywhere, but although I'll always love my kid's mom, I'm happier now than I've ever been love life-wise. Just feels good to do and go anywhere I want without any issues. Anyway, I apologize for the length, just wanted to share my cheating story.